All right, let's kick off. Good afternoon, and on behalf of the Ecolab Institutional Food Service team, thank you so much for joining us today. To get started, I want to give a quick intro and set the stage on how we're going to go through our event today. Today is focused on our new food contact surface sanitizer. It's called Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer. My name is Ashley Crescent, and I'm from our food service marketing team. Also on the line today is my marketing partner, Anna Sorvello, Jill Shomers and Megan Gadboy from our manual warewash and kitchen hygiene research and development team, Ed Snodgrass from our technical service team, who will be fielding your questions. And lastly, but definitely not least, we have Marty Rassaman from our regulatory compliance team, who works on registration for this product. So we're all really excited to be here. Here's us, and like I said, we have experts on the line to ask questions. What I want to do next is talk through how we're going to go through our content today. We're going to cover each section of our agenda and then pause for questions at the end of each section. We'll also have an opening at the very end for additional questions at the end of our planned content. As far as logistics go for asking questions, there are a few ways you can do so. First, you can use the chat feature by clicking the chat bubble, and our team will be able to answer your questions and make sure they're captured. I guess it's not two ways, but be sure to use the Q&A section versus just the regular chat section. Then your question will be fielded appropriately. So that's all we have for logistics. Everyone is on the call is muted, so using that Q&A feature is your best way to ensure your question gets through. So today we're going to go through a product overview, applications and usage of the product, add-on components of the Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer system, and then we'll, as I mentioned, talk through any additional questions and answers that don't get covered throughout that planned content. So let's dive in. So as we're diving into the information on Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer, I want to mention how you can access some of the information we're going to cover today. First is through our website. This website is ecolab.com/Sink Surface Sanitizer. The other way to access this is to leverage the QR code that is at any location that is using this product on their wall chart. It will bring you to our website, and there's an entire section dedicated to health department resources. Here you'll find our health department memo, commercial label, frequently asked questions, which will cover a lot of what we're talking about today, as well as where you can order the Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer test strips. So let's ground in some basics of the new product that we're talking about today. The new product is Ecolab's Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer. It is an EPA-registered food contact surface cleaner and sanitizer approved for use as an antimicrobial by both the EPA and the states. It has a brand new active ingredient system to the market. So this is not a quat or chlorine product that you may be used to seeing at food service locations. The new active ingredient system is made up of dodecylbenzene sulfonic acid, which we'll refer to as DDBSA, and lactic acid. It can be used with many applications, including third sink sanitization and as a cleaner sanitizer on hard, non-porous food contact surfaces via spray bottle and bucket. Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer has a 1-minute claim for food contact sanitization, which is the same contact time for food contact sanitization as products that would have quat active ingredients. Additionally, this product has virucidal claims, which is different than what we see on QUAT food contact surface sanitizers. These virucidal claims include a 15-second SARS-CoV-2 kill claim, killing the virus that causes COVID-19, and 30-second contact time kill claims for the viruses that cause norovirus, influenza, and common cold. When you look at the dilution rate, the product comes in a few different container sizes and is diluted on site similarly to our other concentrated sanitizers that you'll find from Ecolab or other providers. The dilution rate is 0.27 to 0.55 ounces per gallon, which results in the corresponding active ingredient levels of 272 to 700 ppm BVBSA and 704 to 1875 ppm lactic acid. So this concentration range that we're giving delivers the same claims throughout the range, and this is the range that is used across applications including food utensils, food serving equipment, dishes or wares, and in the third sink. Shifting to testing, to test this product at the application site for the proper sanitization range, similarly to what you would do with a cloth sanitizer and test strips, this product requires specific test strips that test for this active ingredient system. They are available at foodsafety.ecolab.com and are called Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer Test Strips. So as I said, it's important to know that clot test strips will not work for this product because it has that new and different active ingredient system. And that's what the test strips are testing for, to ensure that the product is going to work appropriately when it's dispensed. An added benefit of these test strips is that they work at any temperature, where with clot test strips, they require a narrower range for testing accuracy, and if the solution is too hot, it won't work. These products will work at any temp. These test strips will work at any temperature. Our customers will get test strips at the time the product is installed on site, and they'll be set up to reorder as needed. The last thing I want to cover and highlight with the technical details of Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer is safety. So PPE requirements align with our QUAT sanitizers that we sell through Ecolab, where no PPE is required with a dispensed use solution. As the product is acidic, as are other products that are found in kitchen environments, we recommend and train customers to not mix chemicals at all. But also specifically, we train on and recommend not to mix this chemistry with bleach or other chlorine products. The last thing I want to cover in safety is that this product is not a source of VOCs or also known as volatile organic compounds, which some states need that extra information on. All right, so that was a lot that we covered. But the last thing I want to cover when we're talking about product information and details is just to take one extra pause on the test strip detail. I did cover this previously, but I wanted to make sure to hit on it one more time. As mentioned, these test strips are available from foodsafety.ecolab.com and are called Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer Test Strips. To use the test strips is a simple process done by submerging the test end of the strip into the test solution for 5 seconds, allowing 10 seconds for the test end to change color, and then comparing that to the color on the chart of the vial. So that's all I have for our technical overview. Now we'll pause for questions on this section, and Ed Snodgrass will be fielding those questions, and our technical experts from research and development and regulatory will be answering those questions. So I'll hand it off to Ed.
Great, thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it. And just a reminder to everybody, please write in your questions to the Q&A section on the chat function, and we'll make sure we get your questions answered. So we do have a couple of questions so far. And the first one's actually back for you, Ashley. So when will this product be in establishments?
That's a great question. So this product is approved, as mentioned, by the EPA and all states, and it was released to the market on July 1st. That said, it is continuing to gain traction and location, so it could be an establishment in your area now, but we are seeing continued traction and adoption by food service establishments. So now is the answer. Thanks for the question.
Great. Question number 2. I'm going to give this one to Megan. Megan actually did a nice job explaining how the test strips are used, but there are a lot of numbers on the strips. Could you please explain a little bit further what those numbers mean and how to use them to find the concentration of the product?
Sure, absolutely. So the label on the test strips actually has all of the information that you might need. There are numbers kind of across the top above the different color boxes. Those just relate to the different dilutions. We chose to write the dilutions in both ounces per gallon and milliliters per liter because different folks use different measurements. So those are both there. And then as you move down, you'll see the different colors. And then below that, there's 2 sets of numbers. Ashley did mention that this is a dual active system. So the 2 different sets of numbers correlate to the 2 different actives. And so what you're seeing is where the color of the pad on the test strip, where it falls as far as the 2 actives, ensuring that our solutions are in spec for both active ingredients.
Great. Thank you. We'll ask one more question in this section, and then we'll move on and try to get to the rest of them at the end. Is this product approved by the FDA for use on food contact surfaces?
This is Marnie Rassin, and I will take this one. So the jurisdiction over food contact surfaces and safety and approval actually lies now with the EPA under 40 CFR 180-940A, and all of the ingredients in Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer appear on that list, and therefore this product is approved for use on food contact surfaces under the EPA, which used to be the FDA, but it is now transferred under the jurisdiction of the EPA.
That's great, Marnie. And I just want to extend that really quick here. Last question back to you. Is there any risk for toxic residue left behind for establishments that tend to try to run their sanitizers over the recommended concentrations?
So the levels that we have each ingredient approved are at or below what the EPA has established as safe levels. So we would always train and recommend that our customers use the product at recommended use levels because that is where it has been determined to be safe.
Great. Okay, thank you for your answers. Anna, I'm going to hand it over to you to continue on with the presentation.
Sounds good. Next, we'll talk about the procedures for this product. And again, I'm Anna Starvello from our food service marketing team. So there are 2 applications where this can be used. First, in the 3rd compartment sink, and then also on food contact surfaces. So we'll start with the 3rd compartment sink, what you can see on the left-hand side here. So for the 3rd sink, while this product is a 2-in-1 cleaner and sanitizer, a detergent should still be used in that first sink to remove tough soils on wares, which then still requires the rinse step. But then in the 3rd sink, this is where the Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer comes in. So the food contact sanitization time is the standard 60 seconds, and it has the added benefit of norovirus kill and the SARS-CoV-2 kill in the 3rd compartment sink. Another call out here on the 3rd compartment sink and really any applications is that, as mentioned before, the test strips work at any temperature. So that really helps to ensure that this solution can be tested for immediate efficacy confirmation to make sure that it's in spec. Second, on the right-hand side is procedures for food contact surfaces. And what we're showing here is what we're moving from and now to with this new innovation. And per the food code, 2 steps are still needed on food contact surfaces as always. So 1, to remove soils and to clean, and then 2, to sanitize. So this takes our customers and users of this product it takes them from this typical process from using a standard quat product, which is shown on top, which requires a cleaner, a rinse step, and then a sanitizer, to now this simplified process where you can now clean and sanitize with one product. And more on procedures on the next slide. First, I'll call out that we have procedural videos available for both our Ecolab sales team to use and then also for our customers to use. So what we're showing on this slide is one example, and while we won't play it today, I'll talk through what's happening because I think it's important to know. So for surface cleaning, we want to emphasize the difference between this new product, Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer, and then the typical quat sanitizer. And so what these videos are showing is that actually with this new sanitizer, which again is not a quat, this is shown on top. So you can see there's only one bucket, and you can now clean and sanitize with one product in those two different steps. And then with quat sanitizers, what you can see on the bottom is that there are 3 steps needed to meet the food code: the clean, rinse, and sanitizing steps. So our new innovation, what we're talking about today and sharing with you, cuts out that rinse step to help customers comply and simplify their solutions. Next, we'll move on to additional components with this chemistry. So there are 2 parts we'll cover today, our dry wipe system and buckets. And we'll pause for questions.
Okay, great. We do have just a couple more questions that have come in. So this one I'm going to give to you, Jill. So how is this product better than the typical products that have been used in the past?
Yeah, so I'll maybe compare it primarily to quats and chlorines because those are what we typically see most common. This product has the advantage because it's a new active system that allows us to get the virucidal kill at food contact sanitizing levels. The second, as Anna mentioned, it's now a 2-step one product procedure instead of the complicated 3-step with multiple products. This allows for simplicity in the procedures. So I think those are 2 key benefits on why this product may be better than historical products on the market.
Great. Thank you, Jill. One more question. This one, I think, again, Jill, will go back to you. Will the liquid be pre-measured through a 3-compartment sink dispensing unit so employees do not have to measure the sanitizer per gallon?
Yes. So this product comes in a concentrated form, and our Ecolab associates are trained to hook it up to an Ecolab dispenser that will dispense the use solution directly from the dispenser. So this eliminates the contact of employees coming in contact with the concentrate and allows for an on-site dilution system.
Great. Thank you. And just to add on to that, Jill, so are you saying that they can use the same thing, the same product in both sinks, the wash and sanitize sink, or do you need different products in the sinks?
Great question. We would recommend using a manual detergent in the first sink because those are truly designed to get those tough soils that come on, think of like the sheet pans and the pots and pans used for cooking. So keeping a manual detergent in that first sink and then having a sanitizer in the third sink.
Great. Okay, Anna, why don't you continue on and we'll get the rest of the questions at the end.
Okay, great. We'll keep going. We have 2 really exciting features to show now. So first is our dry wipe system. These are dry wipes that are put into reusable canisters and allow for this chemistry to be added to make your own wipes. So it's really simple how it works. You load in a dry roll of the wipes. You add solution from the dispensed concentrate into these disposable wipes, and then you're good to go. And for these dry wipes, they will last 1 week once saturated and can be tested with our Sink and Surface Cleaner Sanitizer test strips. Second, on the next slide is our new visual compliance system. So this is our new bucket. These are really unique, and I'll walk you through how they work. So first, using a unique test strip, which is a different test strip than the ones we've talked about so far in this presentation, the ones that come in the canister and are used to test the third sink or other applications that hold the chemistry. So this unique test strip is inserted into a sleeve in the interior side of this bucket. And then that test strip is visible through this window that you see in this photo here, and will pick up when that solution is within that effective range. So this only works with our sink and surface cleaner sanitizer solution. When it's in that effective dilution range that we talked about, like what's shown in the photo here, that test strip will turn blue. And then as the bucket is used and as there's dirt and soils introduced into the solution, when that solution drops out of spec and out of that effective concentration range, that test strip will tell you when it's time to change the solution and will turn pink. Okay, and then the last thing we'll cover before we turn it over again to questions is that we have two different registrations that are using the same chemistry. So we have a few ready-to-use versions and then a few concentrate versions. So there are two different EPA registrations that we're showing on the screen here. And then below is a snapshot from the EPA list and showing these two registrations. And more specifically, what's highlighted in gray in this snapshot is the contact time for SARS-CoV-2 at 15 seconds. So with that, we'll turn it back over to questions.
Okay, we do have a few more that have come in. This is kind of two questions I'm going to combine into one. And again, this is a question about the chemistry. So Jill, I think you're probably the best one to answer this. You're getting most of them. So first of all, from the concentrated product standpoint, is it considered caustic? In other words, is it able to burn or corrode organic tissue? And then with that, once it's been diluted in the sink or in a bucket, are there any skin contact issues noted, like rashes or anything like that?
So for the used solution, no PPE is required. We have not heard any challenges, and we've done some initial vetting of contact with the chemistry. However, it's just so dependent on the individual. We did formulate it to be nice on skin and not have any harms. And as Marnie mentioned, it's at levels that we deemed safe. So we do not expect it to have any repercussions there. Okay.
And then Marnie, back to you. This is talking a little bit about the product being used in the sink, both detergent and sanitizer. And I'm bringing this to you because they're citing a passage from the food code under the manual warewashing equipment piece. It says sanitation using detergent sanitizers. The agent applied in the sanitizing step shall be the same detergent sanitizer that is used in a washing step. I think this refers to typically a 2-compartment sink operation versus a 3. But Marnie, do you know about this, and can you speak to that a little bit?
So the original intention of the product as a cleaner sanitizer was the food contact, the hard non-porous food contact surfaces. In the third sink, we did not intend the product to be a detergent sanitizer. It is used as a sanitizer in the third sink, and so therefore the requirement for the detergent sanitizer to be the same doesn't really apply here because we never intended this product to be a detergent for kitchenwares. Does that answer your question? I hope. You won't be able to answer me.
I can answer you. I think it did. So we'll see if we get another follow-up question on that one. But next question. This one's going to go to you, Megan. So what is the recommended change-out time for buckets? They say quad is 4 hours. Is it the same for this?
Yep. Yeah. So the 4 hours is actually per the food code. And so we are still recommending changing out this bucket every 4 hours. So that remains unchanged. And then
Megan, just to add on to that, if you have the product in a spray bottle or using the make your own wipes, how often would you have to change out that solution?
Yep, great question. So in a closed system, which obviously would be the opposite of an open bucket or an open sink, the solution can actually last for up to 7 days. So they have a full week in order to use that used solution or those wipes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Just a couple more here. Next question. You mentioned test strips on the bucket, the blue strips, and then you mentioned the test strips in the vial. For a health inspector, when they're testing solution, can they use the blue strip to identify if the solution is in spec, or do they need to use the ones that are in the vial?
Yeah, so the blue test strips that go in the bucket are really just meant as kind of a at a glance, in spec, out of spec. They are not going to be as precise as the test strip vial. So no, our customers should still be using the initial test strips that we talked about at their 3-comp sinker in a bucket to show that the product is within the spec, right? So the blue test strips don't show the full spec range, whereas the other ones do, and they correlate it to the 2 different active ingredients.
Great. Thank you, Megan. And I'm getting down here to the last question, so if there's anything else, please shout them in as fast as possible here so we can get to them. Next question was about temperature. So you mentioned that the test strips can be used at any temperature, which we know is a big benefit compared to quat test strips. But for the product, when it's diluted into the sink, are there any temperature requirements that the product needs to follow?
Right. We're used to hearing about quats and the quats have to be room temperature. This is not the same. We did a lot of testing with these new test strips to show that at any temperature used solution, the test strips will give an accurate reading. So you're not bound by that need to be at room temperature for taking a test strip reading.
Great. We do get a couple more questions here now, which is great. So really quick, and back to you, Megan, again, how long does one wipe last, and can you use it on multiple tables and surfaces, or is it kind of a one wipe per application kind of thing?
So the wipes we measured to have about 90 square foot of usage. And so the way the wipes work, right, is you still have to use it as a 2-step process. So you would use, kind of one side of the wipe and go ahead and do your cleaning step, and then either fold or flip over the wipe, go back over that same surface to do your sanitizing step. So at about 90 square feet per wipe, that's actually really only 45 square feet since you have to go over things twice. But the number of tables that you can do with that is kind of, it depends on the size of your tables, I guess. These are pretty substantial wipes. They are 12 by 12 and a half inches. So they're not the smaller kind of 6 by 6 or 6 by 9 wipes that we see more often. These are pretty big.
Gotcha, great. And then, Marnie, we're going to come back to this conversation really quick about it being a detergent product. So the question is, if it is not meant to be a detergent, will the commercial label with directions reflect this? And then also just a side question, does the commercial label have a low point for sanitizer reading? They don't seem to see it on the label, but I'll let you answer that as well.
Okay, so the commercial label has the use directions, the low and the high point for the use solution for sanitizing, and as a cleaner for the hard non-porous food contact surfaces, you can use that same concentration. And so yes, we do show a low point, and the directions will be clearly listed on the label on how to use the product on food contact surfaces.
Okay, or in a sink, right?
Mm-hmm. Or in the sink, yes.
Okay, last question I have. So Megan, back to you really quick. You did mention the blue test strips versus the ones in the vial. They're asking, if they're not meant to gauge strength, what's the purpose of the blue test strips? Could you please just clarify that a little bit?
Yep. So the blue test strips are still measuring strength. They're more measuring it based on pH and based on the fact that at some point, as you use up those active ingredients, the pH will rise to a point that the product is no longer effective, and that's what it's measuring. So it's just, again, it's just not as precise as the other test strips are, but we formulated them or designed them to go out of spec just below where that upper threshold would be, and so therefore it's a good gauge as you're looking at it to say, okay, we're going out of spec, we got to change the solution. So it still is measuring the actives in a way. It's just a different way of doing it than the other test strips.
And Megan, just to add on that, I think the expectation there for the customer is that they're going to use both that blue strip as a visual indicator on the bucket, but then they'll be verifying it with the standard test strips as well, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, well, I guess the reason we went this way is because a lot of locations you go to, they'll have like 8 buckets throughout their facility, right? They may have them, and depending on how big the facility is, it could be a pain to continue to go back to the kitchen to test that solution. You may be prematurely dumping good solution or on accident using solution that's already out of spec. And so this gives them a way to be able to judge that in spec versus out of spec from where they are on the floor without having to go back to the kitchen and use the other test strips.
Great. Thank you, Megan. Those are all the questions we had. I'll turn it back to you, Ashley and Anna, to close it out.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your engagement today. We've really enjoyed all the conversation and questions that you have provided. There will be a follow-up to your attendance here that includes links to the website where you can find the information we outlined at the beginning of the session. There'll also be an opportunity for you to share with others if you learned something today and think others within your function will also benefit. It will have an option for you to share the upcoming events that we're holding. But lastly, just one big thank you for your attendance today and engagement, and watch for that email. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll be in touch soon.